The Royal Psychic. I'm Jason Horton,
I'm Rebecca Lieb.
and this is Ghost Town.
On August 13th, mere weeks from her death on August 31st, 1997, Diana, Princess of Wales, and her companion, Dodi Fayed, flew by helicopter to Lower Pilsley in Derbyshire. The princess was going to see a woman named Rita Rogers and was escorted to and from her private Harrods copter that landed in a field behind Rogers' modest home. Now, nobody knows what exactly transpired during that half-hour-long appointment, but we do know that it was of great importance to Diana that this meeting happened. Because Rita Rogers was Diana's psychic, a confidant, an advisor, and one of the only women who would see what Diana's tragic future held. Today on Ghost Town, the life and times of Rita Rogers, psychic to the Princess of Wales. When Diana and Rita Rogers met, we don't know for certain. Some sources say it was through a mutual friend in 1994. Some say Rogers had been personally suggested to the princess by the Duchess of York. Either way, the Romani medium captivated Diana's interest and gained her trust quickly. In an interview, Rita Rogers said she'd always been gifted in the spiritual realm, that she'd been communicating with spirits since she was 4 years old. When she was 10, her paternal grandfather, a Romani and a clairvoyant himself, told Rita that she had the gift. Quote, "I says, no way, no how. No chance," said Rogers in an interview. "I'm not doing it," I says. "I'm going to be a policewoman." She goes on to say in that interview that she had many spooky things happen to her over the years, and that she generally didn't like the idea of convening regularly with the dead. Her mother, who was not Romani, also didn't like the idea of her daughter communicating with spirits. One day, Rogers came home from school and told her mother she had seen a neighbor by the name of Mr. Bingham, by the river. Rogers's community was concerned about their neighbor, as he had not been out of their home since his wife had passed away. Rogers told her mom that Mr. Bingham was out, walking by the river, and that he told her he was happy. Quote, "My mother just looked at me," Rogers recalls. "Rita, have you respect for the dead?" she said. "She knocked me around the kitchen." She then told me, quote, "Mr. Bingham had committed suicide in the River Maun that morning." She goes on to say in her interview, "Can you imagine the shock for my mom?" After their meeting in 1994, Diana began visiting Rogers and is believed to have telephoned her regularly after that. Rogers has been notoriously tight-lipped about much that was discussed between her and the princess in those years between 1994 and her death in 1997. Quote, "I was offered £250,000 to talk about her private life, but how could I? She was my friend," she said. She did, however, share some small details over the years, giving insight into Diana's interior life and state of mind at that time. Quote, "She rang at least once a week to see how I was, as well as for readings," Rogers told the Derbyshire Times. "When she came to visit, she used to throw her arms around me. She always used to leave me a present. We had such laughs and such a fantastic relationship." Diana was, in general, very interested in psychics and mediums, but a lot of her reads gave way to paranoia of who she might meet and what might happen to her. Rogers confessed that she warned Diana of a premonition that the brakes of her car had been tampered with, but she didn't quite know the context of that. Only that it bolstered Diana's paranoia, along with, of course, the stressors around her fame and high status. But there were other details that also stayed with the princess, that were a bit more positive about these reads. Because some of the details that Rogers said actually came true. And because of that, Diana was over the moon about their relationship. Quote, "I told her she would meet a man of foreign descent with the initial D on water, and that the man would be connected with the film industry," Rogers said. Not long after, she rang me one day and said, "Rita, guess where I am? I'm on a boat with a man I've just met called Dodi Fayed." I need to emphasize that Diana was under a lot of stress and relied quite a bit on the esoteric arts for both comfort and answers. During this period, she had hundreds of sessions with psychics, holistic healers, and spiritualists. Patrick Jeffson, Diana's private secretary until 1996, believes the princess was vulnerable in putting so much trust in people that perhaps wanted to exploit her fears for their own ends. Self-styled healer and friend of Diana, Simone Simmons, said, quote, "She saw lots of wacky astrologers. Some of the things she did were beyond the pale. Once she came in to see me and had white stripes on her leg." She said she'd been to see a healer recommended to her by the Duchess of York who had taped fossils to her legs, and she had to walk around with them. She also sat under a plastic pyramid, which the healer, called Madame Vasso, told her would produce, quote, "good energy." Simmons went on to say, quote, "She heard other psychics deliver premonitions she'd marry one of the European princes. She consulted dozens of psychics asking the same question. Would she and Charles get back together again? They all said yes. That was the worst. She was ripped off for thousands of pounds by people telling her what she wanted to hear. What she was looking for was someone to say, 'You will fall in love. You will live happily ever after.' She wanted to know if it would happen, and more importantly, when. She wanted genuine love more than anything." Now, of course, there's a lot of mixed messages getting back with Charles, her romantic future, like one might ask if they were under a lot of stress and were in a position of power. Despite some things that felt accurate, Simmons also said that Rita Rogers told Diana some untrue things, like that the Queen would die in 1996, which of course didn't come to fruition. But again, she also said some things that were right on the money. Simmons confirms that Diana used to ring Rogers every 2 weeks. Quote, "Diana said the first time Rita talked to her, she gave her messages from her father, Earl Spencer, who had died. Diana was impressed with what Rita had told her. She said they were things that only her dad would have known." Clearly, of all of her healers, Diana put a lot of stock into Rogers' insight. The last time Diana would see Rogers was on the 12th of August, 1997, for a half-hour appointment with Dodi at the medium's house. Apparently, Dodi Fayed had been so impressed by Rogers' accurate readings that Diana had recounted to him that he had to meet her himself. So the two lovebirds flew to Derbyshire so that he could get a reading of his own. After landing, and when Rogers first encountered Dodi Fayed, she had, quote, "a feeling of danger," but she was there to work, and she began the read. While she was reading for Mr. Fayed, Diana was in the backyard. Quote, "When I did the private reading for him, she sat in the sunshine on the patio with my husband until we had finished." So what did Rogers say to Dodi Fayed as Diana lounged with Mr. Rogers? Well, it wasn't light, that's for sure. In an interview with the Daily Mail, Rogers said she actually warned Dodi about an accident he might have. Quote, "specific details of the color of the car, the tunnel, and told him to always use his own driver." She also told Dodi to avoid France altogether. While those details in retrospect feel eerily accurate, Rogers says that she did not, however, predict that Diana would be with Dodi for the accident that she foresaw. Either way, at that time, the information that was communicated by Rogers to the new couple left a big impression. In fact, so much so that Diana gave Rogers a 15-karat gold necklace from Van Cleef & Arpels, one of her favorite jewelers, afterwards, with a personal note. The note said, quote, "This necklace was made for you and comes with so much love to a very special lady with an extraordinary gift. XOXO, Diana." Now, this necklace wasn't just for the read itself, it was also for the hubbub that this visit caused. Paparazzi swarmed Rita Rogers' house, her small town. She was all over the news. So it was really a gesture for a bunch of things, for appreciation, for sorry for your trouble, for your friendship, perhaps. Although, again, compared to Diana, Rogers would state, it was nothing compared to what Princess Diana experienced every day. If you look at pictures of this necklace, it is very beautiful and very personal. It's gold with interlocking hearts, because Diana would tell Rita Rogers, "You have a heart of gold." Quote, "I was bowled over by it. It was such a lovely gift." Diana, who never paid for the readings, had given Rita tokens of appreciation before, this being kind of the culmination of those. But as a note, she always sent her pink lilies on her birthday, right up until her death. More about what transpired on the day that Princess Diana died, August 31st, 1997, after this break.
Hi, hello, how are you?
Hello.
How you doing?
How's it going?
We are checking in.
This is the check-in.
Hello,
You know.
hello.
You know.
We want to say hello to anyone who's listening, supporting us, spreading the good word of Ghost Town. Thank you.
Mhm.
And our government. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Thank you. Welcome. Goodbye.
The mayors.
The mayors.
They predicted some things, too.
They did, and they do.
Now, were these predictions helpful? Were they useful? Who's to say?
I mean, we might be, but let's hear them.
This mayor made a prediction. They said the U.S. version of The Office might not be as good after Steve Carell leaves.
What?
I know.
Oh my God!
They put
An
that
oracle,
out there.
an oracle for the ages.
It turns out they were sort of right.
Yeah, they
Generally
weren't
speaking,
not wrong.
They weren't not wrong, and they were sort of right.
Yeah, soft agreement on that
Yeah,
one.
soft agreement on
Nice
that one.
work.
It was good. They used their powers
good.
for. Didn't change anything.
Mm-mm.
Still watched.
Of course.
That's Mercer Rothermel.
Hello.
This mayor said, Grey's Anatomy will have way too many seasons. I couldn't even tell you how many seasons that show has. I never watched an episode. I've got my whole life without watching an episode.
Me too. That's so.
It could be
strange.
season 90.
Yeah, it could be season 4000, season 20.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or
I somewhere in between.
Well, this mayor said
Enough's enough.
too many. And people were like, "Oh, we'll still keep watching it because it's called Grey's Anatomy."
Yeah,
We don't
people
know.
love that.
We don't know
show.
and we like a comfort.
Yeah.
Well, she tried. That's Casey Weber.
Hello.
This mayor said, "Stop spinning off the Big Bang Theory. There's too many Sheldons. Young Sheldon is now old, and now it's like just different." Why is there a Sheldon universe?
Yeah, it's the multiplicity Sheldon effect. But people do like it.
They do like it.
People do like that show.
And they're spinning it off to something else. Again, something else
my
I've never
God.
watched.
It's unholy at this point.
This mayor tried. It's Matthew Clemens Leray.
Hello.
Now, this mayor was pretty much in my brain that said, why didn't you make a third season of Mindhunter? It was a really good show. Have you watched Mindhunter?
No, but I've been recommended it.
I loved
Okay,
Mindhunter,
I
and it
gotta
really
watch it.
fits in with
I gotta
like
watch
what
it.
we, you know what I mean?
What we do on this pod.
Really good quality show, and they're
Mhm.
just like, I don't know. Not another, how about not? And it was really needed a third season, and they were talking about it. And this mayor was like, you should not do this.
It's not a prediction, it's just a recommendation.
Yeah, but they knew ahead of time. They're like, you're gonna dig yourself into a hole. It's gonna be end of second season, and you're not gonna pay off a lot of this stuff.
Gotcha.
It's Kelly Meehan. This mayor was like, the show Lost seems like a really good idea, but do the writers just not know what to do with it at a certain point, and at the end really doesn't pay off? I've never seen Lost.
Oh, really? Oh my God, it's
Maybe I tried to watch one episode, and I know it's like good, but then also
really, really good.
Historically, people say that kind of like, however it ended was kind of like not satisfying.
Talk about a show forsaking its absolutely dedicated and intelligent audience. That's Lost. And I know because I've been rewatching it. So this, again, another recommendation.
But would you say it's fair to say that they kind of wrote, like, when they were doing the show, they're like, oh, we didn't know we were going to get to this point.
I don't think it's fair to say. I think it's a fact.
Yeah.
I think they've talked about it in many interviews. They were like, we didn't know. And it's such a slow paced. And I've been rewatching it, and there's some, the dialogue's not great, but the concept is really good and very interesting. And they just were like, fuck you.
Well, that was Kat Joselle.
Hello.
Help us. She was just like, I know you guys are going to get into it to dig yourself into a hole. She knew.
She's like, no more smoke monsters.
Now, this one's close to my heart.
Oh, yeah?
As someone who's gone through it.
Oh.
I've gone through it.
Wow. Okay.
This mayor was like, the show Entourage is not going to hold up well at all. And take it from somebody who went right from rewatching the whole thing right into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Dovetailed right into the movie. And I will say this. Is the movie bad? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is. But after rewatching the series, it's not that bad in comparison to how it went with like season at least 7 and 8.
Yeah.
For sure. It's actually not bad.
You were watching, and then I started watching, and then we were both watching Entourage. And I think it's something turned around season 6.5, where I just started thinking it was really good. I was like, this is good. I got to keep going with this. And then I was just like, it's like I woke up one night. I was like, you're sick. You're sick. Stop it.
They really talk about gaslighting. They were the original. The show gaslit you into thinking it was.
You gaslit me as a woman, as a viewer, as a white woman, as a woman who grew up in the early aughts, as a purveyor of entertainment, as a person who resides in Los Angeles.
But that is courtesy of Ashley Matson.
Hello.
She got it. She understood.
She's just like, all right, my name's coming.
And then our governor. Creator of all shows, good and
every
bad.
Show. Creator of the TV, creator of the universe.
Every reboot comes from our governor. From 90210 to Hawaii 5-0. What are some other shows that are just like, they came out, they're just
and just like that.
Oh, and just like that.
And that Roseanne reboot.
Yep.
The Middle. That's the everyone hates Chris. Everyone loves Chris. Everyone loves Raymond.
There's Blackish, and then
there's Mixed-ish.
Yeah,
all the ishes.
All the reboots. It's just like ha. The money just piles up. These fools don't realize that they're just repackaging something and making it slightly the same or slightly worse. Ha as the money piles up.
It's a real like animatronic laugh.
That's our governor, Avian Noble. If you want no ads, no chit chat, bonus episode, 7 days free. You just want to listen to the good stuff. You don't want to listen to any of this junk.
No,
you don't want to hear like a rehashing television shows.
The Entourage?
Yeah.
You want an Entourage play-by-play?
But head on over to patreon.com/ghosttownpod. You want to get back into it?
Let's get back to Princess Diana and her psychic. Oddly, or fortuitously enough, on the day of her death, Diana called Rogers to check in. Rogers communicated urgently that she felt like something was going to go wrong in Diana's life, and fast. Quote, she rang me at 4 p.m., 9 hours before the crash, to tell me that she was in Paris, Rogers recounted, adding that, quote, she told me she was going for dinner at the Ritz, that she would be careful, and would ring me when she got back home. She said she was looking forward to seeing her boys. In that last phone call to me, I told her I wanted her to come home straight away, rather than in the dark. Rogers still believes that the crash was an accident, and knows she did not believe that Diana was pregnant, as many people have theorized. She also adds that Diana and Dodi were, quote, very happy. It warmed your hearts to see them together. Would they have married? I don't know, but I do know that Diana would never have done anything that would have caused a problem for her sons. They were her absolute priority. But there's also no doubt that they were in love. She was radiant, the happiest I'd ever known her. Later that night, Rogers fell asleep, but woke up to see on the television that Dodi Fayed had died in a car crash. Quote, I rang Diana's mobile, but I only got her voicemail, she said. I've helped to save so many lives in the past by giving warnings in time. I don't understand why I couldn't save hers. Of course, after Dodi Fayed passed away early on August 31st, Diana, Princess of Wales, also passed away. The media reported it everywhere across the world, and of course, Rita Rogers was grief-stricken. Now, decades later, Rita Rogers is still alive, and we'll talk about her relationship with Diana in broad brushstrokes, of course, maintaining that she still has a connection with the deceased princess. Quote, I know she's very happy now, Rogers says about Diana. I still feel her around me. She's happy, and she's proud of her boys. Rita Rogers, of course, now is in her 80s, but continues to provide services to everyone, no matter how famous or infamous. She even helps the police on occasion. The most noteworthy instance of this is back in 1984, before she had even met Princess Diana, when Rogers helped police locate 2 soldiers who got lost in a snowstorm in the Cairngorms. She gave precise directions to where they would be located, but sadly neither survived. However, she was accurate in where she presumed that they would be. Most of her work these days is not helping police or giving psychic reads to rich and famous, fabulous royals, but is mostly putting people in touch with relatives who have died. In 2008, Rita Rogers chose to sell the necklace Diana gave her 2 weeks before the princess's death. People wondered why she'd want to do this, and Rogers' answer is complicated, beginning with her diagnosis with throat cancer 2 years before. The grueling treatment, which involved extensive surgery to her neck, has given her a new perspective. Quote, "This necklace was something really special because of the thought behind it. Since the cancer, I've not been able to wear the necklace, and I was worried about what to do with it. I have 4 daughters and wouldn't want to favor one over the other. I thought about having the necklace broken up and made into 4 pieces of jewelry in some way, but that didn't seem right. It's too lovely to spoil. So with great reluctance, I've decided to sell it and split the proceeds between the girls. I also want to make a donation to a local hospice in memory of Diana, because she and I often talked about her work, and I know she was very interested in supporting those who are dying. She had spoken to me of working with Dodie to set up hospices worldwide, just weeks before she died." People also asked if Diana would be insulted that Rogers sold such a special gift. Quote, "I know she doesn't mind. Others may criticize me, but I'm clear on this. Diana wasn't sentimental about possessions, and I know she wouldn't want her gift to cause a problem between my girls. She always asked after them, and even invited them to Kensington Palace for tea. I have had contact with her since she passed over, and I know she is happy." The necklace sold at Christie's South Kensington on June 2008 for £13,750, approximately $18,000, a gift in the hands of someone whom I hope appreciates Diana's spirit and her immense trust she had in Rita Rogers and her connection to the great beyond.